Hey guys, I just wanted to come over here. I heard from the Lord when I was reading Exodus chapter 17 and 18. So when I was reading chapter 17 of Exodus, the Lord, make me highlight quarrel and grumble. And so this is the time when the Israelites still doubting God while they were walking in the wilderness. So this is a message for kingdom marriages actually. And so he wanted me to highlight verse 2. So they quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." Moses replied, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test?" Okay. And then, but the people were thirsty for water there and grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me." So the Lord is saying for kingdom marriages, for some of you, this is what the Lord said: wife quarrel out of flesh, desire to control husband, and test the Lord like they are their own gods, or can we say goddesses. And the Lord said we need to realign with him. For some of you, you guys are still doubting after all the miracles and wonders that the Lord has shown you in your life. If you read chapter 16 before the 17 of Exodus, that's that was the time they still doubted, they still grumbled, they still quarreled with Moses. They have seen the goodness of the Lord and they still try to somehow quarrel and complain about where they at. They always keep remembering the past of where they came from, which is Egypt. But then again, even in your doubting, God still show his goodness and still be able to make miracles for these people. And that's still a remembrance of how faithful our God is. I'm gonna go ahead and continue in chapter 18. This is again for kingdom marriages, is a continuation. The good thing in this is, even if you may be doubting, you may have mistakes along the way, you may have repented to God in some point of your journey, but God has a good news for you. In chapter 18, I'm gonna read: After Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, for Moses said, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, "The Father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh." Okay, continue. Verse 5 of Exodus 18. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the wilderness, where he was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent word to him, "I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons." So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. So in this section, God is talking about kingdom marriages coming together again after all the trials, being foggy, all the quarrel that's happening. God is bringing back your family, you're reuniting with your spouse again. If you guys have kids, you will be reuniting with your wife and your kids. God wants me to read this part that I wrote. The names of his children corresponds to God's deliverance of his life, is another altar to remember. So, for some of you that already have kids with your spouses and there's some kind of separation, in this little story, Jethro is like symbolizes God, our Father. So he's saying that God is bringing back your family with you. There's gonna be a reunion. Okay, the reunion is near. Okay, your spouse, whether it's your husband or your wife, the prodigal, they are in their wilderness where they was camp near the mountain of God. They needed to be there. God put them in there for a reason. Okay, so so while you are dealing with God alone, God was also dealing with them alone. Okay, but the reunion is near. Okay, and when this happens, Moses or your spouse in this particular topic, they would know, they already know God, but in this time of reunion, they would be fully consecrated to the Lord, their God. So Moses went to meet his father-in-law and bow down and kiss him. They will know who he is more and kiss him and know that they're actually in the right path, the will of God, with you, with your kids, and the purpose that God wants for your life as a union. Okay. And I forgot to mention in Exodus 18 verse 11, your spouse would now know that the Lord is greater than all other gods. And then, so coming down to chapter 18 a little bit, around verse 13 of chapter 18, Exodus 18, once the reunion happens, your husband will be serve as a judge, or that's he's walking in his purpose, and you as a wife will become his helper, advisor. The wife as an advisor behind the scene. Okay, and this needs to happen it's a perfect timing of God. So don't rush anything, because God is using this time for both of you, so that when the reunion happened, it would be for his glory. And at this time after the reunion, there's going to be some kind of work, like a hard work in your behalf, both of you, because you guys will be working in somewhat ministry, or the purpose of God is bigger than what we think. Okay, because he's doing a new thing. So whatever this may be, could be like a ministry, or let's just say business or some sort, whatever that may be, it would be a God's calling for your lives together as a union. And I would stop right there. So I hope this helps some of you guys. This is not for everybody. This is only for a few people. Please test the spirit if this is for you. everyone that's listening to this message. I hope that you receive this. This is a encouragement and a hope that it would be near. So keep holding on. Don't give up. Okay? See you later, guys. Thank you. Thank you for watching.